The defendant entered a plea on October 23rd of guilty to the offense of aggravated robbery. According to the plea bargain agreement, there are no applications and punishment is be assessed at a cap of 16 years in the prison. And there are several cases that are being taken into consideration. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
We have, Your Honor. We have, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, State?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any objections to the PSI report?
No, Your Honor.
All right, defense, I note in the PSI report things that your client has said, which is that he has no idea where these charges came from. And specifically, what he says in the PSI report, and the reason why I want this on the record is because I want to make sure that your client actually wishes to continue with this plea. What he said, as to the instant offense, the defendant stated he was at his home on this date when the victim reached out to him and wanted to hang out. He stated that he agreed to go over to his home. He stated that he got an Uber to the victim's home and a friend ended up going with him. He stated while at the victim's home, he offered him some clothes and money. He stated that the victim knew he was struggling and offered to help him. He stated that the victim even allowed him to wear his jewelry. He stated that he left the location and went to a nearby park. He stated that he did not end up going back home. He stated that the victim sent his friend some money so that they could Uber back home. He stated that later that day, the victim contacted him and told him that he needed his items back. He stated that he ignored the victim. He stated that he later found out that he had a warrant for this case when he attempted to make a payment to his bondsman for another case he has pending. He stated that he called the victim and confronted him about the allegations. He stated that he was later arrested for the instant offense. The defendant denies the allegations of him using or having a gun, but did admit to keeping the victim's clothes and other items.
And that is correct. It is in the PSI report, and I'll ask the court to also focus on page 5 of the victim impact statement. So, Judge, there was multiple felony cases that were plea bargained in this case that the state took into consideration and dismissed, and that's why we went forward with this case. So my client has stated that he doesn't want to go forward with this case. There were many concessions made by the state of Texas on this particular defendant, so that's why we want to go forward.
All right, Mr. Ramos, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
And Nicholas Ray Ramos.
All right, Mr. Ramos, do you wish to go forward with this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You do not want a jury trial?
No, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any witnesses from either side?
No, Your Honor, we were informed that the witnesses made PSI statements that were contained in the PSI.
All right, then any witnesses, defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then the court will hear argument. State?
Judge, there are numerous cases that have been taken into consideration in order to reach this case, or in order to reach this plea agreement. I know that the defendant is young, pretty early in his life, but in that short amount of time that he's been an adult, he has racked up numerous arrests and various cases, again, were taken into consideration. I think that it's the nature of those other charges and the fact that even while on probation or deferred on those charges, he still was picking up other cases. My understanding is that he was on probation when this all happened. So we would ask that you hit the cap, Judge, of 16 years.
All right, defense.
Your Honor, obviously my client is very young, and he'll admit that he has made some serious mistakes. He has a young daughter now that he has not even had a chance to see at this point. One of the things I want the court to consider, and when the court pronounced a sentence in this case, the co-defendant in this case was sentenced to 8 years TDC. And we think that's appropriate given the circumstances. Yes, my client was involved and I shouldn't say was involved, but has been charged with other cases. The district attorney's office made a commitment to dismiss those cases, and they have done so. Judge, with respect to this particular case, the defendant's, I'm sorry, the complainant's father has stated that the victim in this case was not hurt, but he did not get his property back. So in light of that, his age, we'd ask the court to consider an 8-year sentence, which is what the court saw fit when the court pronounced sentence on the co-defendant in this case.
Judge, if I may, the co-defendant was sentenced in the 187. There's a stark difference between that co-defendant and this defendant. That co-defendant did not have nearly as many cases that were being taken into consideration. So that was something that drastically changed what was happening in that situation versus this situation.
All right. And just so everyone knows, and I know both attorneys know, I look at cases individually. So, Mr. Ramos, is there anything you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. I've been incarcerated 8 months. I know I did what's wrong. No. Whatever I did, I know it caused me to come in this courtroom today.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
My bad. I know whatever I did caused me to come in this courtroom today, and I know it caused a lot of harm to different people's families and stuff. I had more than enough time to think about what I've done. I just try to get back home to my little girl. That's it.
All right. So how old is your child?
2 months and a week and a half.
So why didn't you think about this beforehand?
Comment on it.
I'm sorry?
I have a comment on it, Your Honor.
Why are you out committing crime? I don't understand. And I'm asking you these questions because I'm trying to figure out what will be the appropriate sentence for you. The state and the defense will tell you. State and defense, they come up with their agreements. This is their agreement that I can sentence you up to 16 years in prison. So I'm asking you these questions so I can make a decision on what to sentence you to. And that's a lot of time because the range of punishment for this offense is, because they've capped it at 16, is 5 to 16 years. So that's what I can sentence you to. So I'm trying to figure out what is your thought process and why you are out here committing crimes and violent crimes. I mean, did you wake up one day? I always think of people who appeared before me when they were in elementary school. Did they wake up one day and decide, hey, I want to be a criminal?
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out, where did you go in your life that you decide, hey, I want to be a criminal? And I'm looking at your criminal history. Your criminal history is outrageous for a person your age. And I don't know if the misdemeanor, when you were placed on deferred adjudication, in that case, I don't know if something could have put you on the right path from there. We have the burglary of vehicles, not vehicle. There's a lot going on. And then there's an assault bodily injury case that's pending in County Court 15. So I'm trying to figure out, what is your issue?
I guess I had a bad crowd around me. I ain't really had nothing for a little while. I ain't have no structure.
Oh, don't come to me with the structure thing, because there are a lot of people who don't have structure. And when you mention the bad crowd, I guarantee you the person who got 8 years, when they said they were running around with a bad crowd, they were talking about you.
Yeah.
So since you brought up structure, what do you mean you don't have structure?
I ain't had nowhere to go. I ain't have no financial support.
How about getting a job?
I ain't have nothing to get a job. I was old enough to get a job, and I had more than another chance to get a job, but I have no ID. I have no social security, none of that. I done lost all that.
So why didn't you have an ID?
I lost it while I moved out the house a little while ago.
So why are you moving out the house? Don't want to follow people's rules?
Yes, ma'am.
So your lack of structure is because of you. it appears that somebody was trying to give you structure. And then in the PSI report, it says that you were going back home. So what home was this you were going to?
I was really staying with my friends and my girl at the time.
Where? With who? Who's all in the house? Her parents?
Yeah, me, my girl, her mom, her little sister, her older sister, and her brother.
All right, I still don't understand why parents allow children to live in their home and play house. Just one moment. All right, so you can continue.
I don't understand why they would either, but I guess it was, I don't know, I guess it was because I was with her daughter and we were having a baby.
Okay, I'm sorry. You need to put the mask down.
I don't know why they would let me stay at the house either, but I don't know. I don't know. I was with her for a little while, and I guess I had a good relationship with her family.
But you still haven't explained to me why you're going out committing a bunch of crimes. Because you were placed on deferred adjudication. And I will tell you now, whenever you're placed on deferred adjudication now, it's different from when I first started practicing. Back then, it was you're on your own. But usually they will say, oh, you don't have an ID? Let us help you get your identification. Oh, you don't have this? Let us help you get this. So your response to not having your identification or having anything was to throw up your hands and start committing crimes. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with you. Do you deserve 16 years?
No, ma'am.
Oh, why not? And the question I'm asking you, your attorney will tell you, I ask a lot of people these questions. And so I want to see where your head is at. What do you think you deserve for committing an aggravated robbery, stealing from somebody who was trying to help you by giving you clothes, by giving you food, and according to you, paying for your Uber to and from their house?
Years.
Oh, okay, you're saying 8 years, because I'm not even going to interfere with attorney-client. So why do you think you deserve 8 years for pulling a weapon on somebody and taking their items? Let me put you into this situation so you can understand better. Do you love your girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you love your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say your girlfriend and daughter are at their home minding their business, and one of her girlfriends comes over because she has a baby and she needs milk and all of the, maybe some clothes for her baby. And your girlfriend say, oh, my daughter is now 2 months old. I have some 1-month-old clothes. Here you go. Here's some clothing. Here's some money for you. And then that friend's like, oh, thank you. And then that friend pulls a gun on your girlfriend with your baby there and takes her items. What do you think that person should deserve? And that's an aggravated robbery that she would have just committed. And the range of punishment for that is 5 to 99 years or life in prison. What do you think that person deserves? Not talking about you, talking about the fact scenario where your girlfriend's best friend comes over, pulls a gun on her and takes items. What do you think she deserves?
The sentence,
I'm sorry, what?
more than 8 years.
More than 8 years? Well, why? Because you know what? Maybe she doesn't have her ID. Maybe she's not able to get a job. Why shouldn't she just get 8 years? And you know what? Maybe she's running around with the wrong crowd. Why shouldn't she get 8 years? Because she's with a bad crowd. She doesn't have her ID. She doesn't have a place to stay. She has a baby to take care of. So why shouldn't she get 8 years for pulling a gun on somebody and taking their items after they tried to help her? Because she's just running around with a bad crowd. She just doesn't have her ID and she just needs items for her baby. So why shouldn't she be allowed to just pull a gun on your girlfriend, take items that she wants, and then come before court and say, please just give me 8 years, or please just give me deferred adjudication because I'm running around with a bad crowd. I don't have my ID. I don't have my social security card, and I need money, and I don't have a job. You don't want that person to have 8 years because they pulled a gun on somebody you care about, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you've done in this case. You pulled a gun on somebody who was trying to help you out, and they have family members that care about them. So, do you still think you deserve 8 years? I mean, you may want it, but do you deserve it?
No, ma'am.
All right. So, what do you think you deserve?
Your Honor, may I on his behalf?
No, just 1 second. I want to know, what do you think you deserve? Honestly, look into your heart. What do you think you deserve for what you did to a friend who was helping you out?
10, 12,
I'm sorry.
10 or 12.
Why not the full 16? Because it's just too much time? Is it because it's just too much time for you and you can't imagine doing 16 years? All right, any questions?
I don't have questions, Your Honor. I would just ask the court to consider somewhere in the 8 to 10 year range. Judge, my client did not have family structure growing up. I think that's what he was trying to tell you. He couldn't even remember his mother's last name. His father didn't give him much support. He was out on the streets by the time he was 17. He's 19 now. So when he committed this offense, he was basically homeless. He didn't have any place to go. And I would suggest that's probably why he committed these offenses. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I mean, it's definitely wrong. Okay. But he is very young. He's not the smartest kid in the world. And I think he dropped out of school in 7th grade.
All right, why are you dropping out of school? When did you drop out of school?
7.
Why? Mask down so I can hear.
I don't know, I had gone to a fight in 7th grade and I just never went back to school because I was going to alternative and like going back to alternative.
All right, they sent you to alternative school because there were issues at what we would call regular school. So that's, people just don't go to alternative school because, hey, let's send them to alternative school. Usually there's some incident that has happened at regular school and you get sent to alternative school, be it for behavior or something else.
And it was a fight.
So it was a fight. So you got sent to alternative school. And when you're sent to alternative school, it's not forever.
It's not.
So you decided not to go back to school. Why not? Do you know, in Africa, I watch a lot of TV and watch a lot of documentaries. There are students in Africa who walk to school. They don't have any shoes. They don't have any desk. They sit on the floor with one sheet of paper. They don't have uniforms because they need to pay for their uniforms to go to school. And they sit on the floor because they don't have any desks for them. There's actually an organization called Kids in Need of Desks. And what ends up happening is people give money to that organization. So they actually make desks for the children. And now they've started making shoes for the children. And if you see the smiles on their faces, just for the little things. And then here in America, you can go to school for free. And you drop out at 7th grade and commit a bunch of crimes. And now you're bringing a 2-month-old into the world and you have no way to support that 2-month-old other than being a criminal and stealing items. That's a problem. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court is finding you guilty. Court has already previously taken in consideration the cases that were listed in the agreement. This is going to run concurrent with County Court Cause number 691548, 691549, 694250. Mr. Ramos, I've read the PSI with a fine-tooth comb, read the offense with a fine-tooth comb, took into consideration the things that the complainant said in the PSI. And I'm taking in consideration your age. I hope that you can get your life together. There's a $500 restitution to, is that the only restitution state in the defense?
Money wise, Your Honor, there was some property that was taken from the victim in this case that was never given back, clothing and things of that sort of.
All right, they didn't list an amount for restitution for that.
They didn't, Judge.
All right. All right. Court is going to sentence you to 12 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. I'll ask for the therapeutic community. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and I want to let you know the reason why I'm giving you the 12 years instead of the full 16 is because, one, I don't want you to 100% become institutionalized, because when people go to prison, it's a crapshoot whether or not they're going to be rehabilitated. And when you go to prison at your age, there are going to be a lot of influences at the prison that are not going to be good for you. And I would love it if people would go to prison and they could just do their time and not be bothered by anyone else, but you may end up being bothered by other people. You're going to have to keep your nose down. Do not become institutionalized. And while you're there, you're going to have to start thinking more about what got you there. And what got you there is not the fact that you don't have your ID or you're running around with the bad crowd, because you're part of the bad crowd. Do you understand? Do you understand? Showing you what's in the Ida trial for the certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Sign.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. 7, for the offense of attempted arson, reckless causing damage on May 15, 2023 for a period of 2 years. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violate condition number 4 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant, Chardonnay Leanne Lockhart, then and there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of August and September 2023 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Your Honor, the state waives all the violations.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine? Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, the proposed agreement is for 272 days in the Bear County Jail and for this to satisfy the judgment, since it's a Class A misdemeanor.
All right, has she done anything on probation?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then why would, well, all right, so you've done nothing on probation. Probation, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, after she was here last in court, she just did not show up anymore. So we understand that there may have been or may be some issues as far as possibly homelessness and so forth. And we were going to ask just to amend for a moral recognition therapy, job skills training, and possibly the reentry center for services.
All right, and will this be set up while she's in custody if I follow this?
We can't set up those things in custody, Judge.
All right. All right,
At the time, Judge, just to also, I know you have your docket sheet. She was evaluated for DDRF. However, we could not do DDRF because at the time she was pregnant. Don't know what the status is of that is at this particular moment, but we just don't have enough to go off of to give any other recommendation, Judge.
All right, Ms. Lockhart, can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Chardonnay Lockhart.
All right,
Chardonnay Leon Lockhart.
all right. Ms. Lockhart, what's the status of the pregnancy?
I'm not pregnant any further.
Okay,
Judge,
I mean, how do you mean?
okay. All right, so here's my issue. I don't know if anybody wants to ask any more questions, but I'm not going to give her 272 days in the Bear County Jail. If she wants to be revoked, she can be revoked. I'll give her 365 days at the Bear County Jail, or she can, or I will follow the probation's recommendation.
you understand? Do you agree? Judge, it's Ms. Lockhart's wish that you do send her to 365 days in the Bear County Jail after revocation versus the alternative, she doesn't wish to make
Right,
those
it'll be a
efforts.
$4,000 fine, and time and money is not going to run concurrent. Because let me just tell you, Ms. Lockhart, here's what the problem is. The problem is here is that you're on deferred for an attempted arson. You're homeless. You have no job. You've been staying from hotel to hotel. You're going to end up potentially, if I just send you out in the world, you're going to end up getting another theft case, or something else is going to end up going wrong with your life if you don't get stable. The only thing that I can do other than continue on probation is maxing you out. And the reason why I would max you out is because you have done nothing. And the reason why I will not run time and money concurrent is because you have done nothing. So the choice is yours.
I pay them.
Well, then you can choose the maximum sentence of 365. Tell the judge.
It's like you stated the first. So you just have to choose.
Yeah, I'll tell the judge.
Yes, what would you like to do?
Okay, I would like to do the 365 and pay the $4,000 fine.
All right. Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yeah,
You want to talk to her about that?
Well, I did, and I filed the trial court certification along with the explanation before she signed it. So as I told you, you're not going to be able to appeal your decision to enter a plea of true. So you effectively waived it by tendering that document.
Well, Ms.
I'm not going
Lockhart,
to have right to appeal.
if you want the court to sentence you to the 365 days with a $4,000 fine, time and money not run concurrent, are you waiving your right to appeal?
yes,
I'm sorry?
yes, ma'am.
All right. Court will grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you to 365 days in the Bear County Jail, give you credit for any time served. There's a $4,000 fine. Time and money is not to run concurrent. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did understand.
All right, because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bancha, who was placed on community supervision in 2022, CR 6642, for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams, on May 1st, 2023, for a term of 4 years. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Your Honor, it's Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas. It's violated condition number 4 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant, Guillermo Camacho, the then and there, failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of June and July 2023 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
That's true, ma'am.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion and sentence you to 4 years in prison and up to $1,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
No, Your Honor, there is a state recommendation and a defense recommendation.
All right, state, what are you recommending?
Your Honor, we're recommending a drug court evaluation in custody. And if he's not accepted into the drug court program, then state ISF cognitive tract treatment.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, in this case, Mr. Camacho attempted to contact his probation officer, but wasn't able. And then he ran into some health issues with his mother, Judge. And as the court is very well aware, these issues snowball. And once they know that there's a warrant, they don't report. Mr. Camacho also has expressed regret in this. He accepts responsibility, Judge. We're asking for intensive outpatient treatment program with a 0 tolerance, Your Honor.
All right, so outpatient treatment is off the table. All right, so we're at the point of, Mr. Camacho, I want you to hear me. We're at the point of whether or not I'm going to revoke you or not. You
Yes,
understand? Because I know that I tell everybody if there's an issue with probation, they can always come to the court and address that. The not reporting is an issue. Probation, what are you requesting?
I request the drug court evaluation in custody, and if not, and it's half in custody. And at that point, we can, depending on the results, bring them back to court or state ISF.
All right. And is there something you would like to say?
I know I
Want to
can.
raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Guillermo Camacho.
All right, what would you like to say?
I would just like to say that I tried calling my probation officer. My mom, till this day, till right now, she's very sick and she's still in Mexico. I'll like beg for you. I know I can finish this program and
So did you go to Mexico?
No, my mom, but I know I messed up, but I'm here in front of you, ma'am. I know I can finish this if granted, but I don't think I have a problem to go to a program ISF. I don't.
You have
No,
a problem with not reporting.
The only thing, yes, I understand that, but I'm asking you, I do respect, man. I can finish this and I'm here in front of you. I can do this. And, you know, that was the only mistake I made.
No, those were choices you made.
Exactly. And, you know, consequences come with the choices I make, you know, and I'm here and I'm being very polite with you.
So this is what I want you to understand. You were placed on probation May 2023. Right? I gave you conditions May 2023. I know that I asked you if there was anything else you needed from the court. If there was, I would have gave it to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And based upon the conditions that I set for you were based upon what you told me, right?
Yeah.
And I know that I told you to do 90 sober meetings in 90 days because there was an issue.
Yes, ma'am.
So what did you do? May, I placed you on probation, right? Then, according to the violation that you just pled true to, you get out of custody in June 2023, no reporting. July 2023, no reporting. So when and where were you arrested? Or did you turn yourself in?
No, they went and picked me up
From where?
from a couple of streets where I live from. I wasn't hiding.
Okay.
I wasn't hiding, man. I'm just like, I know I can do this. And I'm looking at you straight in the eye. Give me a chance, man. Please.
Oh, I am going to give you a chance. I'm not going to revoke you unless you want to be revoked, but I'm going to give you some choices, okay? So are there any questions before I give him his choices?
No go.
All right, here are your choices. Your underlying sentence is 4 years prison. I'm going to give you a choice. You can either be continued on probation. You're going to remain in custody for a drug court evaluation. Drug court is very quick. Your evaluation will probably take place this week. If they have room for you, they'll probably place you in their program. If they don't have room for you, they're not going to place you in the program. Or you're going to go to ISF. Or if you want, I can revoke you, give you 3 years. You do your 3 years, you'll be done. You'll probably be out before the 3 years are up. That's the one thing that you can listen. I used to always tell my clients, please do not listen to inmates at the jail because they're not attorneys. But one thing inmates at the jail can tell you that is true. They can tell you when they're catching chain to go to prison or wherever they're going. And they can tell you how much time people are actually doing at the prison. Those are two things you can trust that inmates tell you. Everything else, I went to the law library and this is what I did. No, but those two things normally were true. So which would you prefer? I can continue you. You're going to go to custody. You're going to remain in custody till you're reviewed for felony drug court. Felony drug court will probably see you this week, make a decision on you this week. If they decide they don't have room, or if that you're not a good candidate for that, then you go into ISF or you can go to prison for 3 years. Which would you prefer?
Drug court.
All right. This is what I'll do. Then I'll deny the motion. Alternate amend conditions to include a referral to felony drug court. And did you do the 90 sober meetings? So what have you done on probation?
Worried about my mother.
No. So that means you've done nothing on probation, right?
Ma'am.
And let me just tell you, you say you're worried about your mom,
Yes, ma'am.
but not doing your probation is making her worry. Now she's worried probably about whether her son is going to prison. You understand? So it's going to be ISF cognitive if not accepted into felony drug court. And this is to take place in custody. All right. And probation, did you all have a chance to do the gang evaluation?
No, Your Honor.
All
I
right.
never went to my house, man. Like you remember you had put
Hmm?
you had said that the gang evaluation, they never went to the house too.
We need a good address.
All right. So
That's it.
they need it from you. But here's the thing. You are on probation. You got to be proactive, right? It's the same thing when you're trying to get a job, when people sit around and saying, what I put in my application, I'm waiting for them to call me. You need to pick up the phone and call somebody. And all you had to do, if probation wasn't contacting you, was walk into this courtroom and say, hey, I've been trying to get in touch with probation. There's a probation officer right there. And you know what I would have done? I would have said, let's pick up the phone and call that probation officer. Problem solved. But instead, what did you do? You didn't report for 2 months. Basically, you haven't reported since May of 2023. And here we are in 2024. You're going to have to do better. You're looking at 4 years in prison. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you. Anything else you need from the court?
Thank you.
So wait a minute. I want this on the record. If there's an issue with probation and you feel like they're not addressing it, you can come to the court. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.